All right. Well, there were times also where I got in some brushes with the law then too. I can remember distinctly one time being pulled over. I'd been up for probably a day and a half, 36 hours maybe, something like that. I was tired. I had taken something, I don't know, some kind of downer or something, maybe Valium or something to that effect. And I hadn't been drinking though. And I, of course, had been smoking pot. And but the cop knew I was on something, but he didn't know what the hell I was on. And I ended up getting a DUI, but I think it got thrown out or something. I don't remember because I blew clean. I didn't have any alcohol in my system. But yeah, I really can't remember what the disposition of that was. But anyway, had another time where I was 17 years old and I broke into a beer garden place. This place up, I can't remember what it was, but it was up in Carson. Me and two of my friends, who I won't name, got caught, and I ended up having to do 30 days in Los Padrinos Juvenile Hall. That was a nightmare. Oh my God. I went on a 2-week Thorazine vacation. They This guy started a fight with me, and seriously racially motivated black guy started a fight with me purely because I was white. And I hurt him pretty bad before one of the counselors or guards or whatever the hell they were called there could get there. I hurt the guy pretty bad, and but he started it. I mean, everybody knew he started it. So anyway, I got like major pain. I can't remember exactly what happened. I remember being in my room. Um, I remember like screaming and saying, it wasn't my fault. It wasn't my fault," or something like that, and digging my fingers into into the palms of my hands, and they came and like took me into the whatever psych ward or whatever, I don't know, and they shot me with the Thorazine, and that loosened my hand because I couldn't like unloosen my hand. My muscles like cramped over. It was weird. Anyway, anyway, so for the rest of the 2 weeks I was there, I was on Thorazine. Whew, God. Uh, Another time I got busted trespassing at a place getting some firewood, of all things, because it was nice and already cut, and it was a great big place that had a whole bunch of wood, and me and one of Jane's sons jumped over the fence there and got some wood and got caught, and I ended up doing 7 days in L.A. County Jail for that. That L.A. County Jail is a bad place. You don't want to go there. So I think those were the only times I went to jail another time. See, the time that we lived at Roger's place was actually pretty good time. It wasn't really too bad. It was a lot of fun, partying and but then after my dad got that settlement, he bought the Corvette, and he bought a condo in Long Beach at Santa Fe and Dominguez, and that place was not in a good area. It was gated and whatnot, but it was not in a good area. But I did make some really good friends, some really good black friends, and I. See, I'm trying to think. And the funny thing is, I didn't work. Why didn't I work? What was wrong with me? I mean, I was just partying. I was just, party. That's all I wanted to do was just party. And I didn't even really have any concept of being responsible at all. it's like it's something that didn't even cross my mind. It's crazy. And I dropped out of high school then when I was a junior. So I was 17. I think right in there. God, I'm trying to think how all that worked out. See, I ended up. My dad kicked me out after we moved out. This is what I was actually building up to when I mentioned the thing with the condos, where the condo that my dad bought is after we moved there. My dad kicked me out, and I lived on the streets for 7 months. I mean, literally, I lived under the Redondo Beach Pier, and I also lived in, you can't even get there anymore. I was just in California, well, in LA at Redondo Pier in like January of this year, and you can't even get. But anyway, where the parking deck is, there's like there was like a little boardwalk thing, and you used to be able to go down to the beach there inside the horseshoe pier, but you can't go down into the beach area anymore. I don't know why, but you can't. But where this like boardwalk thing was, if you looked up underneath there, you could crawl under there, and all up underneath where the parking deck is like caves up under there. And I lived there for 7 months when I was 17 years old. I had barely did any. I wrecked my dad's Corvette. I mean, but not bad. It was just a little bit of damage. But this guy that I hit, before I ever got home, we traded information, and he calls my dad and makes it sound so much worse. He said I knocked the bumper off of his car. He's some lowrider, you know, with his Chevy, you know, and I didn't even dent his bumper. He calls my dad. What I did was you know, the Corvette had this 1977 Corvette has like the rubber nose piece, and it like crimpled it a little bit so that the paint. That's the only damage, and it was on the Corvette. So anyway, he calls my dad, and he tells my dad that, you know, I slammed into his car and knocked the bumper off of his, you know, beautiful lowrider.